All right, welcome back to the Halloween Spooktacular of Impossible Versus matches. As always, I'm Joseph, and I'm joined by my good friend Eden. Eden, welcome. Say hello.
Hello, everyone. Excited to be here.
How have you been doing lately?
I'm doing good. Kind of got back to work in July and kind of getting back into the swing of things is really weird with the times, but it's exciting.
Yeah. What? Let the audience know. What is it that you do?
I'm currently in Georgia and I work on film and TV. I was fortunate enough to work on Watchmen, and I worked on the WandaVision that'll be hopefully coming to Disney Plus by the end of this year? Question mark.
I'm looking forward to it, but working on WandaVision and HBO's Watchmen, therefore making Eden our most famous guest on the show.
Oh,
Whoa, isn't that
whoa.
isn't that crazy? Next to Craig, of course. Um, but yeah, so welcome to the show. For those of you who do not know the show, you should have gotten on this already. This is episode 35. That means there's 34 other episodes that you should have watched already, including you, guy that shows up in the first minute that it's uploaded to dislike the video. I don't know who you are, but I have a few guesses. It's Will, isn't it? Um, it could be. But if you don't
Or
know the rules by
Rebecca.
now,
I would
you
do
should
that.
know the rules by now. But Eden's got a list of characters. I've got a list of characters. We're going to spin our randomizer wheels and come up with how these characters are going to cross over. We're changing things up just a little bit for our Halloween episodes. There's going to be a lot more Halloween episodes, and every matchup will feature a horror themed character in some way. We have horror versus horror matchups and horror versus completely innocent characters. Who knows what'll happen, and we'll go a little bit more in depth. But for right now, Eden, you are new to the show, so I'm going to go first for these, just so that you can get into the swing of things. But you are, of course, always welcome to jump on in and build off. We highly encourage the collaborative efforts of whatever dumb shit we're going to come up with in the next few hours or so. But we're going to start off with a horror versus horror matchup. So, Eden, go ahead and spin your wheel and tell me who you've got.
All right, it is Sam from Trick or Treat.
Ooh, Sam from Trick or Treat. I love that movie. He's also on my list, so
Oh,
I
nice.
am actually going to I will remove him as well, but I do very much enjoy that movie. Go ahead and tell the audience about this character.
Um, well, I feel like I've only seen it a few times, but he is. I like to just consider him like the keeper of Halloween. I feel like
Mm-hmm.
he enforces all the rules of checking your candy. Don't blow out the light of your pumpkin when you get home. Like you should leave it like lit. Wear a costume and all that stuff. And if you don't, and if you break any of these rules, this little cute little kid looks like with a burlap sack and a little orange jumpsuit will show up, and he has a killer pop like lollipop that he will essentially stab you with and kill you.
Mm-hmm. So if you break the rules of the sacred Halloween tradition, Sam is going to come and teach you a lesson that you will not soon forget.
Oh no. And
If
it
you
won't
have
be pretty.
And if you have not seen this movie, definitely do because it's probably the best Halloween movie, in my opinion.
I only watched it because it was a horror nights thing, and I like the end that it's like four different stories all woven together, which is kind of
Right.
cool.
And it's very lightly put together too. Like it's not it's just tied together by this Sam character.
Yep.
Um and now these are complete polar opposites cuz Trick or Treat is a relatively new movie. Like I'd say probably from the last decade or so, right?
Thanks. Some yeah.
It,
Yeah,
it
2007 is when it came out. So,
yeah, pretty recent. Meanwhile, the character that I have is Dr. Caligari. Dr. Caligari is from a film called The Cabinet of Dr. Caligari, all the way from the 1920s. So this is the silent film character on my list. Have you ever seen this movie at all?
I have not. I'm reading about it right now.
It is absolutely disturbing. It is so creepy. And like not to a horrific extent, it's just because silent horror movies have this like disconnect. They might as well be from like another dimension or something, really, where you don't recognize any of the actors. Like my grandparents were not even alive when these movies came out. And it's a German expressionist movie. So a lot of that is like it's just creepier from the visuals and stuff.
I'm
But the
looking at some of
overall,
the artwork of it, and
yeah,
it's odd.
it is odd, but it is very good, and also probably the first movie with a twist ending. Fun fact.
Oh,
Um,
nice.
but definitely worth watching. I watched it one Halloween, and it was just it gives you that creepy feeling to it. It's very bizarre, but the character Dr. Caligari is some sort of hypnotist. He's like a traveling showman of sorts. And the thing that he does is he has with him a sleepwalker whose name I do not remember off the top of my head, um, which I'll actually probably have to Google. So I'm gonna probably say his name quite a few times. Um, Let me see. The Cabinet of Dr. Caligari.
So it's got a lot of good reviews, though.
Yes, it is. It is a very, very good movie. Okay, Cesar. Cesar is his name. So he walks around with this man, Cesar, who sleeps in a cabinet. It's pretty much a coffin. That's pretty much what it is. But basically, what Caligari does, is he he has the sleepwalker wake up at night to do his bidding, unbeknownst to him. And so during the movie, he abducts a woman. He does kills and stuff like that. But all through being a silent, sleepwalking man. So basically, it's kind of a like master and beast sort of relationship where the Dr. Caligari controls the movements of what the sleepwalker does, basically puppeteers him.
Okay, yeah.
Now, going by going by the general rules of things for this show, they have to kind of intertwine, but now Sam is the spirit of Halloween. So I can only assume that he's just been around forever.
I think that's a good point because I mean,
Right.
Halloween has always been is a thing, so he can
Yeah.
appear anywhere.
Yeah, he can appear anywhere, anytime. He's just always there. So I'm going to say it is a good Hallows Eve in Germany, 1920s Germany or 1910s Germany, whenever the movie's actually set, but it came out in the 20s, so I'm going to go with that. And basically, Dr. Caligari has arrived in town with his cabinet. He's doing his usual show, and basically is explaining that this is like Halloween is, nothing to be scared of or anything. You've just got, you know, only it's only an illusion, much like his show, because during the daytime, everyone just thinks this is just a fun little amusement show, but during nighttime is when he actually uses Cesar for his nefarious deeds. Now, once it comes around nighttime, he starts doing all this. Kids are going around doing their 1920s really creepy shenanigans because, as you go back in time, children get creepier. And like I'm sure you've seen the photos of like 1920s Halloween or something. It's
Oh, anything that has to do with like any holiday back that it's creepy. And also, children, I should just put children for my entire 25 of people because children are the worst in horror movies because they scare the crap out of me.
put a kid or a really old person in a horror movie, and it's going to be terrifying.
Oh,
You're going to get your Oscar for you're going to get your Oscar for sure. Um, but yeah, so he starts using Cesar for his nefarious schemes on Halloween night. This can be, you know, kidnapping, this can be murder, this can be theft, but all of which are things that you should not do on Halloween. So this, of course, brings Sam to his doorstep, and Sam is not now in the movie. He is not specifically malicious. He seems to like to give people a chance, at least, I'd
I
say.
I would think so because I mean he kind of warns the lady in the beginning, like she gets a warning, and she
Right,
just keeps doing her thing, and he's like, "All right, then, gotta
exactly.
go."
Or the older guy at the end, where and this is basically going to mirror that, where Sam knocks on Caligari's I guess caravan door, and wants some candy, and he's like, "No, get out of here, kid." And so this, of course, prompts Sam to realize that not only is he breaking the rules of Halloween by having someone go out and steal, because you do not steal on Halloween. You ask for candy and you get it. It's trick or treat. Um, and he's just pulling a trick, but you don't do that.
Mm-mm.
Um, he's also, kidnapping people, which is not good. Probably murdering. That's not good Halloween spirit either, because Halloween's just supposed to be about fun.
He'd also probably blow out the jack o' lantern if it was early. He seems
Oh,
that type
yep,
of way.
he probably would. Um, so this prompts Sam to go after the doctor to, avenge the spirit of Halloween, but using his hypnosis mumbo jumbo. Um, Basically, he has Cesar come back to the caravan to defend him. So this starts with Sam is trying to fight off Cesar, and Cesar is going against him. And but Sam's beef is not with Cesar.
Oh,
So it's a little bit of a conflict there. But Caligari is trying to, he doesn't fight for himself or anything like that. So, and then who knows what happens from there? Maybe Cesar actually gets woken up for good instead of sleepwalking, and maybe they both turn on the master. Not sure.
I mean, I would hope so because I mean, if you realize you've been sleepwalking and you've been doing these dirty deeds for somebody else, I'd be pretty angry.
Exactly. And that's pretty much what I got. I mean, if you're going to have Sam in there, then the other person's got to break the rules of Halloween,
Oh
period.
yeah,
And
always.
but I think this is really interesting because it takes probably one of the oldest horror characters versus one of the newest horror icons there is, and we've made them cross over 100 years of cinematic history.
And I mean, he could even be Sam could technically even be older because I was looking it up. He is considered a god.
Oh,
So he is the
okay.
spirit of Halloween, but his species is a god.
He's probably been there since the beginning,
Yeah.
or even maybe before Halloween. Maybe he adopted that.
People weren't following rules, and he's like, you know what? Someone's got to do something. I'm gonna lay down the law,
Right.
and I'm gonna be the size of a small child because people think I'm cute, and I'll get a
Yeah,
pass. But then,
he's kind of cute with his little burlap sack.
oh yeah, until that like comes off and it's that creepy pumpkin whatever scary face. I'm
Right.
all for Sam.
Yeah. And then he ruins it by taking the mask off.
But yeah, no, can't go back after that.
But yeah, if anyone out there has not seen Trick or Treat, definitely do so. I feel like that's probably the greatest Halloween movie that there is.
I mean,
Nothing
if you're,
feels more fall than Trick or Treat.
oh yeah, it's I like it. It's a good one. And isn't Anna Paquin? Isn't she in it?
I'm not sure. I feel like there's a few people in it though.
Yeah, she's one of the people. Weirdly, Anna Paquin shows up in the movie. So if you're a fan of her, you have that to look forward to.
Yeah, there's a lot to look forward to. Yep, Anna Paquin, Brian Cox,
It's also one of those
others.
things like if you're trying to get somebody like in who's like not a really big fan of like horror, like gory horror, there's
Mm-hmm.
only a few times where it's like, and it's not even that intense, but like the like lollipop in that girl's mouth's a little much, but it's a good
Yeah.
starter horror movie for people if you're like, hey, ease on into it.
Yeah, there's nothing like gratuitous. It's a good way to start people and get them into horror movies because if you show them one that's like too old right away, they'll probably, think it's cheesy. But if you start them with Trick or Treat, I feel like that balances like every like subgenre a
Mm-hmm.
little bit because you got monsters in there, you got like a slasher thing going on, you got some horror comedy
You
in
got
there,
some
you
werewolves.
got some ghosts. Um, yeah, it's really good. And if you haven't seen The Cabinet of Dr. Caligari, which I know no one listening to this podcast has, then definitely go ahead and give that a watch. Eden, I highly recommend
I've,
this movie too. You could probably find it on YouTube, honestly, because it's that old.
I've added it to my list. I always like to add, especially if it's a spooky movie. I always like to get that list growing. So
It's definitely one of those movies to turn just all the lights off and just phone down and absorb whatever's on the screen.
I was gonna say,
Not because like the plot's highly complicated or anything. It's just the visuals are so dreamlike.
yeah, because I was like looking at like how they do like the force perspective of like the different shadows and everything, and so like
Hmm.
I feel like definitely like dark room watching that would make it the best.
Oh yeah, if I could find like a Blu-ray of it, then I'd be set because seeing that in like super remastered would look fantastic. But definitely, it's I've seen a few of the silent horror movies, and that one's my favorite for sure. Left an impression, I'd say, just like Trick or
Well,
Treat did.
you might be in luck on Amazon. You can get it for Blu-ray, DVD, or stream it, or on VHS.
Ooh, okay, I can do all of those things.
And they also have a bundle for a multi-format
Oh,
purchase. So
holy shit! How fast did you look that up?
I just,
I
well,
blinked and you had it up.
I was just looking at stuff and I scrolled down. It was like Amazon, here it is. So
Oh,
4K restored.
oh, word. Okay, well, I guess I know something that I'm buying. I'll also have to grab Metropolis while I'm at it.
Yeah, they have a bundle of Metropolis, Nosferatu, and the Cabinet. So
Oh, oh
just
man.
never leaving your house now for Halloween.
Okay, I mean, yeah. What else am I gonna do this year anyway?
Exactly. I've contemplated making my own horror house, like Horror Nights house
Oh
in
yeah.
our apartment just because I miss Halloween.
I'd like to transform my apartment into the haunted mansion for a good 24 hours.
Just why 24 hours? Just leave it up. It's fine.
Forever. Is this apartment actually stretching?
And then you just put the like overlay of Nightmare Before Christmas to make it Christmassy.
Ah, there we go. All I have to do.
Super
Easy.
easy.
All right. Well, that does it for that scenario. So let's move on to the next one in part two of this Halloween spooktacular.
Ooh, that's my ghost.
Very unenthusiastic.
It needs some work. It needs some work. It's fine.